Miller.
Here.
Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum. All right, we'll all stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll do the approval of the minutes. Need a motion? Or, yeah, moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Markham. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Now we have approval of the agenda. Moved by Commissioner Cavell, seconded by Commissioner Wiper. This is a vote. Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Quick question, point of order.
Yeah.
There's two different things under minutes. Do we approve them both?
Yeah, do you want me to go back and say them?
I'm okay as long as it's.
Yeah. Yeah, it's both of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next time I'll make sure I state that. That's a good point of reference. So we have approval of the agenda. Now we have public comment. Anybody from the public would like to speak on any of the agenda items? Anyone? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, call public comment closed at this time. Now we come to communications. We have one communication 2022 Moss Suppression Grant Program Mid-Year Report. Moved by Commissioner Spiz, seconded by Commissioner Cavell. I would like to say thank you to Addison Township, Auburn Hills, Bloomfield Township, Farmington Hills, Oxford Township, and Rochester Hills for reporting on this grant.
Yep, I'd like to make a quick comment too, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
It was a very good first year for the program. I mean, those communities came and did what they could to help fight this moth, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah.
We did not use all the funding that was put forth for this project for this year, so we're gonna carry some, I think it's $100,000 over to next year for the second year of the program, because we believe there'll be other communities that step up based on seeing the first year, the success we've had, that there'll be other communities that wanna participate, because there were some communities that went through the training, went through everything, but did not participate, for whatever reason.
And I've even seen there's communities that train twice.
Yes.
Yeah, and sort of piggyback off that is, with the money being lulled over to the next year, is there anything from now till then that can be done? Different, just like see if there was an issue, like more survey or something, I don't know.
There'll be another report that comes into us.
Yeah.
The end of year report, where they're actually gonna do a full in-depth analysis of everything, because they have to wait for a certain period of time to see how much foliage was damaged and how much wasn't, how effective basically was the
Yeah.
spray. So we won't know that till farther into fall. You really can't spray until spring anyway, but you
Right.
can make other communities aware of what the program is, so we can continue this up front. So we can continue to have this on our webpage to make sure everybody's aware of it, so it's not a last minute thing for them.
Yeah.
So that's the intent, so.
So what do you think about if we put out on social media and like our newsletter, like a survey for the community to say, just like, hey, this is like a picture of the moth. Have you seen any, just in the interim, right? Just to get it, keep it rolling?
Right, I would recommend maybe in one of our next monthly reports,
Yeah.
put that back out there. Here's a link to the webpage that has all the information on it, because that has it all there. It has the picture.
Right.
What is this moth?
Do they have, I don't recall, do they have a survey on there? Like, have you seen this and just check yes or no?
I don't believe we have a survey on there, but MSU Extension did all the previous surveys for
Yeah.
us. So we can have that conversation with them when we meet with them again.
Yeah, 'cause it'd be
What's the best
interesting,
way?
right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Just-
Oh,
It was-
Commissioner Wiper.
It was a lot of communities attended. I mean, 60 individuals from 19 communities attended the training.
Yes.
And so it was more than just a few communities participating. I mean, there's really.
Well, those are the ones that I
Yeah.
believe
Yeah, yeah.
went forward with the
Right.
grant.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
a
they're-
lot,
yeah.
lot of the county heard about it, so.
Yeah, and there was some communities that still continued to go out and wanted to fund it on their own. I mean, personally, I didn't understand that.
Right.
They had grant money that they just had matched, and they could have did bigger areas or cut their costs in half, but they wanted to continue to go down the path that they were going because they had a vendor or they had a process they
Right.
were following and didn't want to deviate from that at this time, so that may change next year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I like it.
And
Commissioner Wiper.
they're out again. I'm in South Line, and we've got some black walnut trees. Their cocoons are there, so I mean,
Right.
it's gonna be an ongoing issue.
Okay, yeah.
And our treatment only affects the gypsy moth.
That's it.
That's correct.
Correct.
It's not going after stink bugs or anything else
Right.
in the hole. Okay.
Gwen, are you pro stink bug?
I guess
I am not
Yeah,
pro stink
Commissioner
bug,
Charles.
but I am pro a balanced habitat, you know?
Actually, your question actually made me think of something. Were you done? I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm done.
One of the primary candidates on the other side of the aisle from us had mentioned about repopulating after the set, this moment in time where bugs will be dead. That's how I look at it. So has that come up? Yeah, like basically, I think there's like a 2-week period of time where this treatment does impact creatures, woodland creatures. And so I just was very high level, not the expert in any way, just wondering, is there something that happens after that where you can inject more bugs back into the ecosystem?
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. There was some mention of that, and again, it was in passing, but I just thought if that was something, perhaps MSU Extension may even be able to provide some more insight, but
Yeah.
that was it.
Well, this is just to get rid of that certain species, right? Because it's killing the trees and everything around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
And not
for
affecting any
now.
of the other bugs.
Correct. And it's a naturally occurring, we call it poison in the system.
Right.
In the environment. It's nothing man-made. It's
Yeah,
no effect on anything else other than these moths.
right. And you had a question, Commissioner Whiteburn?
Hmm?
Okay. Any other discussion? Hear none, call the roll, please. I'll prompt the vote.
You have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries, thank you. Next, we'll go to our regular agenda. First agenda items, economic development, aviation, transportation, grant acceptance, Oakland/Troy Airport, sealed taxiway pavement, surface joints, airfield crack sealing, rehabilitate taxiway, airfield paint marking. Moved by Commissioner Charles, seconded by Commissioner Wiper. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good to see you in
Yeah,
person.
good to see you in person.
Very nice to
Yeah.
see everyone in person. Great to be here. Thank you. I thought it was a small agenda, so I would just come personally.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. And you're the topic of the whole agenda.
I feel like
You're
the
here.
star this morning. So what we have this morning is a grant that is very traditional for us, funding through the FAA, but administered through Michigan Department of Transportation. This is a grant that we are eligible for every other year, and as you may recall, last year at Troy, we had a complete rehab of the runway, so
Yeah.
this grant will help us with some of our taxiways and taxi lanes in between the hangars. The amount is $20,600, and it requires no match, so it's a pretty easy decision on our part. If anybody has any questions.
Commissioner Charles and then Commissioner Wiper.
Nice to see you in person as well. I wanted to just ask technology and improvements in pavement, although when we talk about airports and airplanes and things like that, you want the best surfaces that are nice and safe. But I'm just curious, any advancements in the space of paving that aren't so bad on the environment, for lack of a better way to put it?
I think the paving industry is doing a lot of research in that area, but today, from a practical standpoint, it's pretty traditional materials that they're using. They are doing quite a number of, quite a bit of research on sealants, and in fact, we're going to participate in an FAA experimental testing on some of our pavements to review. I think there's 4 different types, and we haven't learned much about it yet, but we're just beginning that discussion, so.
Thank you.
Commissioner
How
Wiper.
are you finding contractors? Is there trouble with labor, or?
No, actually, we've had very good success, and we also went out to bid on a project for Oakland County International for next year. We were very concerned about what type of rate increases and what type of bid participation we would have, but the numbers came back actually a little bit under our targeted budget. Of course, we had a little cushion in there for current circumstances, but we had strong bidders and good numbers come in, so we haven't been too negatively affected by what we see going on.
Thank you.
Commissioner Markham.
Thanks for coming in today. Yeah, we're kind of the sort of contractor that people like to work with. You know, they know the county's gonna pay them, and so, yeah. So, this is federally funded, and the feds they like airports, and so they just give us the money, and we apply for grants, and we don't even have to match. That's about the best kind of operating the government locally I can think of is,
Yes.
you know, just,
Not typically zero match, but for this low amount, no match. And this is a special program, this crack ceiling pavement.
but even when we have to match, it's not really a very big number. It's 10%, 20%, that sort of thing. It's never huge.
It's typically 90% federal, 5% state, 5% local.
Okay. Yeah, so, and I think you told me a few years back that the federal government does not like to close airports, and so that's why we are retaining 3 and improving them and making them what they need to be.
Exactly, keeping them safe.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion? Question is, I'd be interested in the 4 types of pavement that they're looking at, the FAA, if you like, let us know about that. Because in Michigan, right, I mean, yeah, we're probably sealing cracks more than, and patching more than most, you know, that are outside of Michigan, farther out, but, you know, because the road moves, changes, right? So I'd be interested in
So they're
that.
sealants, not necessarily pavements,
Okay.
but so they're application on top of asphalt.
Right,
But a lot of that will be trying to protect, trying to endure the, you know, the integrity of the pavement for longer periods of time, and then to be reflective to help keep the pavement dry in the wintertime and during
right. Well, that's to be
precipitation.
interested as well, too.
Yeah.
Because if you get a certain kind of sealant on there, it could be too slick for an airplane, right?
Right.
And we don't want that.
Right. So
Um,
we haven't signed up 100% because we want to
Yeah.
understand more about these
Oh, for
sealants
sure,
before
yeah.
we make any application to our.
Most definitely. And then, so $20,000, it's not a big amount then? Is it just here, because that's not a lot, I mean, I'm from the construction field, right? And
Yeah.
operator, so the roads, I know, that's not really a lot of money.
No, it's a bucket of money that the state gets. They share it amongst all the airports around the
Okay.
state. And it's a small amount of money, but it's just designed to help maintain and protect in between the bigger projects.
Okay. And then the other question I have, so this goes through through Oakland County's purchasing, is that correct?
No.
So the bidders, how do you find the contractors? Because seeing it's federal dollars, it'd be under Davis-Bacon.
The state brings the contractors
Okay,
in. Yeah.
all right. Because you mentioned that you went out for bid on another job, so I kind of, all
Yeah.
right. All right. Any other questions? All right, seeing none, prompt the vote, call the roll, please.
I'm going to give you a sticker.
We have 6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, our next agenda item is Economic Development, Aviation and Transportation Grant Acceptance, Acquisition of Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting ARFF Vehicle Part 139, Index B, Class B, and equipment. Moved by Commissioner Wiper, seconded by Commissioner Markham. Good morning again.
Good morning. So again, this is a federally funded grant that's administered through the MDOT program.
Mhm.
We feel very fortunate to receive this grant from the state. Vehicles are very rare. It's typically you see construction projects coming through
Right.
the program. But we did have a good case for this vehicle. We're very excited about it. It's going to take us about a year to receive it once you spec it out, so we won't receive it until next summer sometime. It will replace our 1991 vehicle, and we have another 20-year vehicle that is our primary today, which will move to be our secondary.
Okay.
So it is a requirement to maintain these vehicles to a certain standard and of a certain age by the FAA. This one is one of those traditional grants, 95 and 5, so we do have a match of $40,288. And again, the budget on that project is $805,752. So it includes not only the new fire truck, but also some equipment, like emergency rescue equipment.
Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz and Commissioner Whitemer.
Do we know the manufacturer of the?
Oshkosh.
Oshkosh, okay, thank you.
I was interested in where you're ordering it from, and it will take a whole year. I mean, once
Yes.
you put it in, and
Yeah.
I did say it was like $50,000 or $80,000 worth of equipment. I didn't know what that was. But.
Yes. Axes and grinders
I mean,
and saws.
this is a
Yeah.
$800,000, 1,500 gallon pump, right?
Yes.
Pumper truck or.
Right. Yeah.
And I saw in the conditions that you're required to, if you replace one or whatever, you're required to, something value of 5,000, fair market value, you gotta sell it and use it towards the cost, but
Yes.
since we're keeping the 2005, don't have to do that?
Right.
And the 91's just gonna be.
The 91
disposable?
will probably go to auction
Okay. Thank you.
or the historical museum.
Yeah, I was wondering that.
See it in the parade or something.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could use it for.
Commissioner Spiz for the second time.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. Do we get input into that vendor, or is it provided to us by FAA?
It's the low bid.
Oh, Oshkosh was a little bit, okay. Because I know there's Michigan vendors, I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Just one
Commissioner
less-
Whitmer.
There's not that many vendors on this kind of equipment, right? I mean,
No, we
it's-
had 2 bidders, and Oshkosh was our preference, but it wasn't our selection to make, so.
Got it, thank you.
So on the equipment, I'm just curious, because it is an airport, is there different equipment on it? This is just for reference, right, than a regular fire truck? Like, is there any like foam on there, or is it just like,
Oh, there will be foam. It will be equipped for foam.
Okay.
Because we don't have any other option at this point.
right?
But it is equipped typical to a standard fire truck.
I didn't know, because airport fuel, like, that's a whole lot different than motor fuel.
Right, right.
So,
We have mutual aid with the surrounding communities, Waterford Township in particular, and so if there were to be an aircraft incident off airport, they would be calling us and we would be responding with our equipment because we have the expertise in that type of
Yeah.
recovery.
okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Yep, Commissioner Markham.
Let's hope we never have to use it.
Yeah.
Well, we have in the past, and so we have to be prepared for it in the
Yeah.
future.
Commissioner Charles.
Yeah, Ms. Bush, I was just trying to figure out org chart-wise, do we get presentations from you on some periodic basis about the airport, or more so just in terms of these instances where you'll need us to approve? And the reason I ask, because I remember you presenting, I think in '21, about the airports and things like that, but it was on Zoom, and it wasn't as tangible as now when I can put a face to the name, if you will.
Sure.
So, forgive my novice, what do you do with the airport?
I'm the manager of aviation and transportation.
Okay.
I report to Sean Carlson as deputy executive. My responsibilities are to maintain the integrity of the airport, protect the safety, enhancement of the airport. So I'm involved with the FAA, our certification process. We are Part 139 certified airport, so we have annual inspections, we have quarterly inspections that we have to adhere to those processes. Also get very involved with the grant process and work closely with the Aeronautics Commission, the state that oversees airports, to make sure that we meet all of their certifications. They have their own set separate from the FAA. Also on the Michigan Aviation Airport Executive Association Board, and so I participate with other airport managers across the state for the betterment of airports. I manage the personnel for the airports. We have 14 maintenance and rescue firefighters. We have 5 admin. We have 6 station managers that are based out at the Troy Airport and the Oakland Southwest Airport. And then we have a group of seasonal staffing that helps us during the summertime with landscaping and whatnot. So I'm involved in that. I'm a community outreach, so anyone that is asking for a speaker to represent the airport or a tour of the airport, work a lot with a lot of the communities that use the airport terminal. negotiate leases, land leases with tenants that are on the airport at Oakland County International and also at both of the smaller airports. We also have a large, over 700 T-hangar tenants, so we manage the leases for those individuals. I could go on if you like.
Do you have, I mean, do you have help? Do you come to us at some point for finance hearings and under somebody's umbrella?
I have a budget that, I adhere to, so yes, I have a budget hearing tomorrow, actually, with
Great.
Kyle John. And
Awesome. Well, thank you for indulging me.
sure,
And
anytime, and
thank
you're
you,
welcome
Chair.
to come out to the airport if you'd like to take a tour. We've done that in the past, and
Definitely.
There's a,
Airport committee. Open houses.
open house on Sunday.
on Sunday,
Yeah, for
please
sure.
join us,
Maybe
yeah.
it's fun.
Mhm.
But yeah, a few years, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll just prompt the vote real quick, and then we'll,
Oh,
we
yeah,
can
sure.
load communication. Thank you.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Cheryl took us, few of us on a tour of all 3 airports one day, which was, took a long time, because
It was
getting
a long
from
day.
here to there was quite.
Yeah.
But it was very informative, and it's really colored the way I think about the airports,
Wonderful.
So it's good to get out. I mean, the Troy Airport isn't far from you, and, who knew? It's just tucked in there.
I know.
First time I visited, there was a big FedEx truck that just kind of dropped out of the sky and landed there, so, yeah. It's,
Nice.
people don't realize how much commerce we actually pump through all 3 airports here.
Right,
Absolutely.
yeah, for sure. You want to ask?
Just to follow up, so we got the open house this weekend,
Yes,
and then we came through this committee that we approved a lease for the museum, or the museum, is that
yes.
in progress? I mean,
They're in the process of the move. It's gonna take them a couple of months before they're ready for display and I think public tours or anything. It was quite an undertaking for them to relocate from where they were at, and they're doing some modification. I think they're painting a big mural on the side of the hangar with the World War II airplane. So it's gonna be a great, I think, public outreach and educational opportunity. Great for the airport.
and then what, last thing, so you mentioned you do grants. During the budget hearings yesterday, they talked about getting more staff for grant writing. Is that?
Well,
I've heard
typically,
you-
we don't have to write the grants, we just accept the grants. So
Nice.
that it is a big administrative burden lifted for sure. And then we also work with our engineering consultants, which are a terrific help in that process.
Thank you.
If you can hang out, we're going to end soon. I got to ask you a question about the aeronautics.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
And it's true that Oakland International Airport was the first licensed airport by the FAA in history, isn't that correct?
Right, even before the FAA was the FAA,
Mm.
it was,
I just
yeah.
want people to recognize that.
Yeah, we were 00001.
Nice. Excellent.
So we're important.
We are very important.
Historically.
It's
Historic,
very
yeah.
important historically, yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, next, we have public comment. Second public comment, you can speak about anything. Anyone from the public? Anyone from the public? Seeing none, we'll call public comment closed at this time. What's that? Any other business?
Yes.
Commissioner
Really
Charles.
quickly. Sometimes, because we're infrastructure, we're EDI,
Yeah,
when it comes to timestamps on some of the uploads that we have, nothing I expect for you to be able to make happen today, but I'd like us to, because if we're updating the agenda, if things are, I gotta look. Okay, good. But yeah, everything has a timestamp, and even if it's a version control, I'm gonna ignore my colleagues over here.
Right.
Canoodling. But the point is, I'd love for us to figure out how to go about seeing if the technology can include that, because like with the school district, there was a timestamp on the document,
right.
and every time there was a version change, it was easier to manage, because I just hate hearing the community continue to
Mm-hmm.
bring that up.
Right.
I feel like it's such an easy switch to fix, so
It is.
I wanted
Yeah.
to mention that.
Well, yeah, well, definitely inquire about that, because I even like the voting, right? Like, how come we don't see it live as we're voting? I know that's something they're working on.
And on both screens. I was
Yeah.
told it can't be on both screens out there.
It doesn't make sense,
I'm like,
but
okay, so I'll just get my binoculars. So,
that's it.
okay, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other business? Any other business? Here none, we'll call the Economic Development Infrastructure Committee adjourned at 10:02. Thank you.